All right, welcome back to the channel, guys. Hope you're doing really well. Your workouts are going great too, of course. And today's video has been inspired by myself, okay? I've been extremely busy the past few weeks. I know I haven't done a review really all that consistently like I have in the past. It's just because of everything that's been going on right now. I had a medical procedure done that my doctor said I couldn't lift weights for 2 weeks afterwards. My schedule at work changed, so even if I didn't have this thing done, I still wouldn't have been able to train consistently. And I then got sick, okay? So I had to recover from that. So it's been 3 weeks since I've actually trained. Just got back to the gym the other day, feels really great too, and I haven't really lost that much. Also, I have some other things in the works for this channel that I'm working on. For example, this coming week, I'm gonna be interviewing Dr. Mike Israetel from Renaissance Periodization, okay? So I'm really excited to share that with you guys. So that interview will be up on the channel within the next 2 weeks. So there's a lot of stuff going on, okay? So this inspired today's video, and I am gonna get to new reviews really soon as well, but I wanted to talk about how do you get to the gym consistently and train when you're really busy, when things get in the way in your life or things really change. Because they do, it happens to everybody. Things get in the way that make it so you're not able to train, or it's gonna make it really hard. So let's talk about this. And the first thing here, guys, is that you want to find consistency in your schedule and in your life. Because when it comes to training, consistency is one of the most important things, okay? If you can't be consistent in your training from week to week, then your progress is going to stall. So what do we mean by consistent? Well, the first thing here is finding consistency in how many days a week you can train, your frequency. Okay, so right now, look at the schedule that you have, find a number of days, even if it's just 2, during the week that you know you can devote to training, okay, from week to week. So if 1 week you know you can devote 2, and then the following week you know you can devote 3, that's fine. Okay, but if there's a big jump, let's say for 1 week you can only do 2 times a week, the following week you can do 4 or 5, that's actually not so good, okay? That's not really being consistent, and doing extra training sessions up 4 or 5 the next week isn't really gonna help you all that much, because let's say in that 3rd week after that, you can only go back down to 2, then again, that's not being very consistent. So you wanna kind of split the difference. So in that 1st week, if you can only do 2, do 2. The following week, at most, only do 3. Because there's not a huge jump between 2 times a week and 3 times a week. When you get up to 4 or 5 times a week, that's a big jump. All right, and that's gonna be a big difference that you don't want, and you're not gonna give your body the ability to adapt to what's going on. Okay, so find how many days a week you can devote and try to be consistent on the days that you're able to do. So let's say you have time on Monday and Thursday, try to stick to that the following week. Now, not everybody's gonna have that freedom. It's going to change from week to week for some of you in terms of which days you're able to train, but at the very least, you want it to be consistent in terms of the number of days per week that you can train. So like I said, if it's just twice a week, so be it. If it's 3 times a week, great. Find what's consistent for you. Now, once you found that consistency, all right, now you're able to determine the type of structure or the type of split you're gonna be able to follow. So if it's just twice a week, your best choice is going to be total body. If you're able to do 3 times a week, that gives you a little bit more freedom. Total body workout is probably still gonna be your best choice, but you can split it up so it's upper body twice and lower body once during that week. But again, it's gonna be dependent on the individual and what works best for you, but most likely total body is still gonna be the best choice for you. Now, you also wanna find out how much time on each of those days you can devote to training. Okay, so that's gonna vary from person to person depending on your schedule. If you're able to devote 1 hour for each of those days, that's good. That's at least what you wanna try and devote to and try and find time for. Most of you, I'm willing to bet, will be able to find that. So if you're able to do 1 hour twice a week, okay, that case, you're pretty good. You're gonna get plenty of stimulus and progress out of that. No question about it, okay? Again, if you're able to do that 3 times a week, even better. But there's gonna be some of you who's only gonna be able to devote half an hour, okay? In that case, all right, it's better than nothing, absolutely. And you're still gonna be able to make progress, but now you have to really think about what you're gonna do during that session. So once you find all that stuff, including the frequency and the type of split you're gonna be doing, now you need to figure out which exercises you're gonna do. And that will be determined in part on how much time you have to devote in that session, okay? So if you're only able to do half an hour, total body, again, like I said, is gonna be your best choice, and compound movements are probably gonna be your best choice in terms of the exercises, okay? Because you're gonna want and try and get all the muscle groups during that week, and also try to hit that volume of 10 to 20 sets per muscle group per week, the best that you can, and compound movements is what's probably gonna help you get there. Now, having said that, if you're able to devote an hour for each of those days, okay, total body, you're gonna be able to hit 10 to 20 sets per muscle group per week just fine. But like I said, once you're starting to get lower, say only half an hour, compound movements is where you're gonna probably wanna be. Now, in terms of which exercises specifically to choose, that's gonna be dependent on you. That's gonna be dependent on the individual, okay? So everybody's a little bit different. Only you will be able to know which ones those are. I can't really determine that for you or choose them for you. I can give you some ideas of which exercises are really great, but again, it's going to vary from person to person. Now, if you've been training for at least a year, you have a pretty good idea of which exercises you respond to really well. So in that case, if you know that, it's just a matter of plugging it all in now. You know how many times a week you're able to devote, how long on each of those days you can devote, and you also now know which exercise you can do. So you just need to plug it all in. In terms of the reps you do for each of the exercises, the main principle still stays the same. If it's a compound movement, it's probably gonna be on the lower end. Let's say anywhere from 6 to 12 reps, okay? If it's isolation, it can vary from anywhere from 10 to 20 or even more, okay? Depending on the type of exercises it is. So those principles still stay the same. In terms of the intensity, the RPE or the RIR, reps in reserve, that's still gonna be the same as well, okay? And you still wanna go from week to week and progressing the weight you use and the reps that you increase from week to week, because you're still trying to follow progressive overload and make progress from week to week. That's not really gonna change, all right? So this should give you guys a good idea on how to fit training into a busy schedule. The most important thing is finding consistency in your schedule that you can devote time to from week to week, and so you know that's not going to change from week to week. At the very least, the number of times per week, okay? If the days themselves change, so be it, but as long as the number of times per week doesn't change, then that's what's most important, and that's what's gonna help you make progress as you go from week to week. All right, guys, so I hope you found this video today useful. Like I said, I'm gonna get back to reviewing programs really soon. I've gotten used to my schedule now as well. I'm not sick anymore, so I'm able to do that. And of course, I have that interview with Dr. Mike Israetel coming up really soon as well. I wanna try and get more interviews onto this channel as well. All right, so you got plenty of stuff coming up really soon. All right, guys, so again, hope you really enjoyed this video for today. Hope you found it useful, and I will see you guys next week.